Okay, so this is part 2 of explaining the changes to Kaervek, talking about why he's a bad deck, and at the end of it, I'll give my thoughts on why I still have him, why I still like him, what his real theme is, because as you saw in part 1, it's really disjointed. I've got a lot of cards that are just fun to play. I've got a light zombie theme. I've got a late goblin token theme. Just a melange of different effects. Anyway, let's keep going. High Market, another colorless mana producer. Like I said in part 1, I've got a lot of non-basics to produce colorless, which can bite me, has bitten me. That's why I put the Chromatic Lantern in the deck. So sacrifice creature, I gain 1 life. There's another way to get value out of the Sting Shorter. Sulfur Springs. I like the Ice Age art better with the demon sitting in the pool of sulfur. But this 5th edition, Jeff Miracola, I love his art. It's white border, but I still like it. It kind of fits the flavor of the deck. It kind of fits the theme. My other Sulfur Springs, my Ice Age one, Edgar's got that one. So again, add 1 colorless mana, or add black or red and take a point of damage. Balthor the Defiled, 4 for 2/2 zombie, dwarf legend. All minions get +1/+1. I have no minions in the deck. The reason he's in here is if he's in play, or if he's in my graveyard and say I have a Coffin Queen ready to go, untapped, no summoning sickness. If somebody decides to hit me with the Bajuka Bog because they're trying to take out Kokusho, more often than not, at instant speed I can spend 3 black, exile him, and everybody returns all black and red cards from their graveyard to play. So all my creatures will come back, barring some artifact creatures that might be in the graveyard. Everybody else has 2, but that's never been a problem. Usually I have more, and usually mine are more. That's why they're trying to hit me with the Bajuka Bog in the first place, is because I've got stuff in my graveyard that they don't want to deal with again. They want it gone. So he's fun. Swamp. And here comes the Goblin Token theme. So CGN Commander, red, and 3 for 2/2 Goblin comes into play. Put 3/1 red Goblin creature tokens into play. Sacrifice a Goblin. He deals 2 damage per creature player. Okay, that's another way of using the Sting Scourger. That's another way of using the Sting Scourger. I can sacrifice him because he's a Goblin to do 2 points of damage something. So again, I'm not paying the echo. Wheel of Fortune. This might come out. Maybe this will come out for the Arcane Signet. It's a relatively new edition of the deck. I haven't cast it out of the deck yet. I haven't seen how well it helped me. I'm sure it'll help me. I mean, it's a goddamn Wheel of Fortune. Everybody throw away their hands and draw 7 new cards, which could put things in my graveyard that Balthor can bring back. Mountain. Mog War Marshal. So, in this deck, he's a bad card. It just leads to the disjointed, erratic nature of the deck. But he's in here to get tokens that I can use for the Phyrexian Tower, for Helm of Possession, for Siege Gang Commander. So he comes into play, and I get another 1/1 red Goblin creature token. When he dies, I get the same. So 3 creatures for the price of 1. Beacon of Unrest. Fantastic card, a lot of fun. Black 3. Put target artifact creature card from any graveyard onto the battlefield under your control, and then you shuffle it back in to do it again. Molten Slag Heap. Okay, another, let's just use the term bad card. So it produces colorless. Again, another colorless mana producer. But it can put storage counters on it, and that's what I like to do. Just leave it to the side. Every turn that I have extra mana, just keep taking it up. So when Kaervek dies, I've got mana on tap to recast him. Murder Short Cap. Yeah, I remember years ago in Standard when he was hot stuff. Not really anymore, but he does feed Ereboses and Perforos of Devotion. He's easier to cast because of the hybrid mana. He deals damage. He's got Persist, so if I sack him to the CGN Commander or Goblin Bombardment to anything, he comes back and I can do it again. Rakdos Charm. This has proven its effectiveness. So, red and black. Choose one. Exile cards in target player's graveyard. And I did that to a friend of mine playing Muldrotha. He heeded my advice about putting in cards to protect his graveyard. And he was about to go off. And I said, yeah, no. I'm going to exile your entire graveyard as an instant. No! Yes. Or I could destroy an artifact, but I'd rather use Shattering Pulse for that. Or Manic Vandal. Or each creature deals 1 damage to its controller. So if somebody has a token theme, actually this would have been really good when my friend played his Lord Windgrace Landfall deck, and he got out of his Avengers Zendikar, and he got up to, 13 plant tokens, and he had another 6 creatures. So, bang, 19 points of damage. Yeah, it hurts me too, but a little bit less. Kulreth Ritter. So this is Kulreth Knight. Black-red, 2 black-red hybrid, 3 for a 3/3 flyer with Wither. But that's not why he's in here. He's in here because he also says creatures with tokens on them, counters on them, creatures counters on them, cannot attack or block. So if your mates are playing a heavy counter theme, putting a lot of counters on the creatures, you just cast this guy, and those creatures can't attack or block. They're just stuck in place. And there she is, Kokusho, the Evening Star. Let's take a look. So he comes into play, and he does his thing. She dies, and she does her thing. It's a guaranteed 5 life loss to each opponent, and I gain life equal to the life losses. Grey Merchant of Asphodel is going to be at least 2. More reliably, it's going to be 6 or more. So on the surface, he is probably better because he should drain more and get me more life. But he's only a 2/4, and he doesn't fly. Kokusho is a 5/5, and she flies. So that's better. Let me actually put the Chromatic Lantern in the wrong pile there. Beginning of part 1, I went over the changes. So one of the changes I made was putting a Chromatic Lantern, because again, all the lands have produced colorless, which a lot of fun. I like them. They're reasons they're in the deck. Goblin Bombardment, sacrifice creature, deals 1 damage to target creature or player. There it is, the Bajuka Bog. Enters battlefield tapped and exiles 1 player's graveyard. Gone. Urubos, God of the Dead. 4 and a black for 5/7 legendary enchantment creature god. And Destructible. Yeah, okay, so if I don't have a devotion, he's not a creature. Sometimes it's actually a benefit. Your opponents can't gain life. That is very relevant very often. It really surprises. What do you mean I can't gain life? Erebos says, no, man, I'm sorry. I didn't do it. He does it, not me. 1 in the black, pay 2 life, draw a card. Do it as many times as you want because it doesn't happen. Skull Clamp. 1, equip 1. Equip creature gets +1, -1. When it dies, you get 2 cards. Everybody knows Skull Clamp, I think. Perforos, got the Schmied. Took me a long time to find a foil German Perforos. One of the things I like to do in my decks is either have one foreign card or a lot of them. In Kaervek, I think it's 20% German. And it just feels neat. I mean, Kaervek, it sounds kind of like a German name to me. Obviously, I'm not a German speaker, otherwise I probably wouldn't say that. Anyway, so he's indestructible. If you don't have Devotion, he's not a creature. When a creature comes to play under your control, it does 2 points of damage to all of your opponents. And then this, 2 colors red, creatures control gain +1/+0 until end of turn. Maybe get something else, I don't know. I've never used an ability. I really don't care about it. But it's there. Swamp. Smoldering Marsh. Swamp Mountain. Comes into play tapped. Let's have 2 or more basic lands. Mountain. Gilded Lotus. So this is in here also to ramp me up. Give me the colored mana I need and the excess mana I need to cast and or recast Kaervek. Tap, add 3 mana of any one color to your mana pool. As inside Martina Piltarova. So the Slovak Magic players, they really upset her. So they started treating her kind of like their artist. Slovakia is a small country. Apparently they started going to her house to try to get cards signed, so she doesn't like Magic players anymore. Hey, Kiki Miri Burger. See, there's 3 red. So the mana requirements in this deck are intense, and I only exacerbate the situation by having all these non-basics that produce colorless, hence the needs for things like Gilded Lotus and Chromatic Lantern. So anyway, 5, 2/2 Legendary Goblin Shaman. He's hasty, and you can put a token in play that's target non-legendary creature you control. So you can copy anything that's not legendary, token has haste, and it dies at the beginning of the next end step. He does stuff. Living Death. 5. Everybody, all your creatures in play, die. All your dead creatures come back to life. Do it. Manic Vandal. It's fun. He doesn't need another reason. And he's fun. I don't need another reason to play him. 2 in a color, 2 colorless, 1 red, 2/2 Human Warrior comes into play, blow up an artifact. And here's the reason why the me not taking out the Snowlands is a good idea. So the other mass kill spell I've got is Damnation. And when Blood on the Snow got spoiled, I realized it would really work in Kaervek because I didn't take out the Snowlands. So black 4, destroy our creatures or all planeswalkers, and then I get to take a creature or planeswalker. I don't have no planeswalkers in the deck though, so effectively it says return a creature with current mana cost X or less from our graveyard to the battlefield, where X is the amount of snow spent to cast a spell. So if I tap 4 snow-covered lands, I can bring back something that costs 4, for example. And he comes into a clean battlefield because everything else will be dead. Falconwrath Noble. 4 for a 2/2 flyer. Vampire. So yeah, I've got some vampires in here. It's disjointed, like I said. Whenever he and another creature dies, I drain a player from 1. Cryptghast. And it's a bit... The reminder text on the surface would forbid him from being in the deck because of the color requirements, but reminder text is not counted. Keep that in mind. And also I've seen the new Cryptghast from Ravnica Remastered. They don't have the reminder text, so it just says extort, and they expect you to know what the hell that is. So anyway, he's 4 for a 2/2 spirit, and he doubles my swamps. So if I get Urborg out, he really pulls his weight. Gratuitous Violence. If creature control deal damage to creature player, deals double instead. Again, a heavy red color requirement, but let's go back to Terror of the Peaks and Army of the Damned. So, we've got Terror of the Peaks. I've got Gratuitous Violence. I cast Army of the Damned. I've got 13 shocks. No, I've got 13. What does 4? What burn spell does 4? Okay, so I've got 13 double shocks. Infernal Titan. So again, he's really good with Gratuitous Violence, because when he attacks, the 3 damage becomes 6. That I can divide 3 ways. I've got, instead of 3 gut shots, I've got 3 shocks. And when he attacks, he hit for 12. And more about the Goblin theme. So, another token generator, 4 red, 2 colors red, 4 mana. For 2/2, when he comes to play, I get 2 1/1 red Goblin creature tokens. For the trained ridden, few Goblin military innovations have rivaled the bug. There he is, the infamous Dockside Extortionist. This is my only copy. I could use a copy in Animar, would be nice in there. Would not put him in Edgar because he's not a vampire, would not put him in Karthus because he's not an elf. I have no other decks at the moment that use red. Red to me is kind of a support color. But I was looking at his price. The same with Terror of the Peaks. As soon as I saw him spoiled, I thought, oh yeah, that's going to be good in Kaervek, because I need ways of generating more mana to cast him, because he already costs 7. If he dies once, that's 9. It goes up quickly. But I've noticed he's doubled in price since I purchased him. But unlike Terror of the Peaks, if I were to sell Dockside Extortionist, I would only be able to buy under the Dockside Extortionist. I would not have the card anymore. So for that reason, I'm not even bothering to try to cash in, even though I expect him to get reprinted fairly soon, because it's just too valuable card in the deck. It's too fun. Enters the battlefield, create X treasure tokens or X number of artifacts, enchantments your opponent's control. If you've got Kiki Jiki, you can double it by copying him. So he's in there. And to go with the zombie theme, I've got my personal Friction Arena on steroids. So black, 2 colors for a 3/3 zombie spirit. Beginning of my upkeep, I draw X cards and lose X life, where X is the number of zombies I control. So if I've cast Army of the Damned and nobody's bothered killing them, and I haven't gotten any of them killed, with her in play, that's 14 zombies. I'm losing 14 life and drawing 14 cards. At that point, I better win quickly, or I'm just going to kill myself. Fulminator Mage. He's just near on the off chance I play somebody that has a Yevmai Hollow, Gaia's Cradle, some land that I need to destroy. I don't like land destruction. I don't like blowing up people's lands. But some lands, you just have to expect it. I expect people to try to destroy my Gaia's Cradle when I play one. I expect people to try to destroy my Cabal Coffers or my Nykthos. They're just too good. So he's in here in case I need that. Sacrifice him, destroy an unbasic land, Cemetery Reaper. Let's make more zombies. So 1 black for a 2/2 zombie. Other zombies you control get +1/+1. Nice, makes them bigger. 2 black tap, exile creature card from a graveyard. Put a 2/2 black zombie creature, effectively 3/3 if he's still in play, token on the battlefield. Because every grave cradles a recruit. Mana Vault, 1 tap, and 3 colors for mana pool. 4, untap it, only usable during your upkeep. And if you do not untap it, you take a point of damage during your upkeep. Something to keep in mind. Helm of Possession. 4. Spend 2, sacrifice creature, gain control of target creature for as long as you control Helm of Possession and it remains tapped. If you forget and you untap it during your untap step, you made a mistake. You lose that creature. Goldspan Dragon. Another way of getting treasure tokens, and another way of abusing them, because they provide 2 mana, not just 1. So, red for 3, and 3 for 4/4 flying hasting dragon. When it attacks, becomes target of spell, make a treasure token. As long as he's play, that treasure token can tap, sacrifice for 2. Coffin Queen. Black, 2 colors for 1/1. She's now a zombie. If you look and gather, she's been errated to Zombie Wizard. So you can choose not to untap her. What do you get if you do tap her? 2 and a black. Put target creature card from the graveyard in play under your control. Remove it from the game if she becomes untapped, or if there's a trick with her. So I can take a creature and with that ability on the stack, sacrifice her to say Goblin Bombardment, so she goes away, and the creature come into play under my control without needing to be exiled because she's already gone. I checked on Gather. If you don't believe me, look it up yourself. Solemn Simulacrum comes into play, go find a basic land, put in play tapped, then shuffle. When he dies, draw a card. So a friend of mine, years ago, he sold me one of his deck. He was one of these guys that he would build an EDH deck, run into a money crunch, sell it, eventually solve the money crunch, buy a new deck, get into a money crunch, just cyclically. So he sold me a deck with a Mirrodin foil Solemn Simulacrum, and he regretted it. Every week thereafter that we would meet, he would say, "Hey, you going to send me back my Solemn Simulacrum?" "No." "It's mine now. I like it." And next week, "Hey, you going to sell me back my Solemns?" So finally, after about 2 months of this, I said, "Fine, I'll sell it to you. Just quit bothering me." So I took the money that he paid me for his Solemn Simulacrum and bought my own. Blood Artist. Whenever he or another creature dies, I get to drain somebody for 1. My Planeswalker Killer. Black for 2/1 Vampire Shaman. First strike. Sacrifice her, remove all counters, target permanent. Of course, so that permanent as a creature, might be better if I just play the Kolrath Knight so it can't attack or block. Swamp. Mog Infestation. Okay, this is funny. Red 3. Destroy a creature's target player controls. For each creature put in the graveyard this way, they get 2 1/1 goblin creature tokens. Now, if I have Purphoros out, and I have 10 creatures, and I Mog Infest myself, and Purphoros is not active, okay? He can't be a creature at this point. He has to, I cannot have Devotion Red. But if that happens, and let's say I have 10 creatures and an inactive Purphoros, I get 20 goblins, and Purphoros does 40 points of damage, because he does 2 for each creature. So 10 creatures becomes 20 goblins. Purphoros says, "Hey, you do 2 points of damage to your opponents for every creature that you got." So that's one way to end the game. Blood Crypt. Shockland. These are coming down in price rapidly. Wreckage. I wish that we'd complete the cycle. I'd like to see the enemy color Mirage fetch lands at some point. They're not the best. They come into play tapped, but they're effective. Swamp. Zaldun, the One-Eyed. The reason Demonic Tutor, or Vampiric Tutor, is not in here is because of him. Because logically, if I have him and a tutor, every turn I should sacrifice him to bring that tutor back to my hand. So because I prefer to have this 3/2 with horsemanship with essentially unblockability, that I can sacrifice as needed for something else, I find him more valuable. I do not have the tutor. So I don't get into the position where it's most logical for me to sacrifice him, get the tutor back to my hand, and just make the deck consistent. And the lads I play with, they would see that, and if I'm not doing it, they would think that I'm screwing with them, that I'm not playing at my best, so I solve the problem by not having an unrestricted tutor in the deck. Friction Tower, add 1 colorless, again. Sacrifice creature, add 2 black. Petrified Field, so talking about destroying lands. This is mainly here for the command beacon. So if I've sacrificed the command beacon to put Kaervek back in my hand from the command zone because the commander tax is too high, I can sacrifice this and get the command beacon back, play it again, and do it again. So I get an extra activation out of it. So anyway, that's Kaervek. And as you saw, it's not a good deck. It doesn't have a real theme. It doesn't have a real raison d'etat. It doesn't have a purpose. It's just a disjointed collection of fun cards. Until I tell you what the theme is, the deck does have a theme, and the theme is get Kaervek out as quickly as possible, keep him out, protect him so he stays out, and be able to recast him or get him back out of the graveyard as many times as necessary so he is in play for most of the game. So that's why I like the deck. I've got a lot of cards that are fun to play, a lot of effects that are just neat little tricks to do, but it all revolves around Kaervek. As opposed to my friend's deck, his Kaervek deck, which revolved around screwing with the game state, and Kaervek was a sideshow. In fact, I think he only cast Kaervek once out of all the times he played his deck, as opposed to me, where I want to get Kaervek out as quickly as possible and keep him in play. And that's it. That's the deck. So let me just think. You happy I returned to EDH content? Let's start talking about it in the comments below.